Magandang araw po mga kabansa. Kayo po ay nasa Iparas kay Paras at ito ay yung lingkod Ado Paglinawan ng Maestro na bumabati sa inyo. Secretary?
Magandang hapon, Paring Ado. Magandang hapon naman mo muli sa ating mga kababayan. At dito po tayo sa Iparas kay Paras programa para sa taong bayan para makita natin ang mga uri-uring ginagawa ng ating pamalaan, lalo na yung mga kabulastugan na nangyayari at kawawa ang ating mga taong bayan dahil hanggang ngayon naghihirap pa din ang ating mga kababayan. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Secretary, sa init ng panahon ngayon ay kailangan ng tubig. Pero sa South China Sea, mukhang nauso na naman ang pagkakanyon ng tubig dahil dito sa mga sagupaan ng ating Coast Guard, sa Coast Guard ng China.
Tama po kayo, Paring Ado. At dito sa nabalitaan natin ay pinatawag na naman ang ambasador ng China, ng ating Department of Foreign Affairs upang magbigay ng eksplanasyon or ano bang tawag niyan? Magbigay ng basihan kung bakit sila gumamit na naman ng tangke sa pagsabog ng tubig pagpasabog ng tubig sa barko ng Pilipinas. Ito po, pakinggan natin ang news report.
Philippines summons China envoy over water cannon attack May 2, 2024. The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs said Thursday it summoned a senior Chinese embassy official over the harassment of Philippine vessels in the South China Sea. The Philippines protested the harassment, ramming, swarming, shadowing, and blocking dangerous maneuvers, use of water cannons, and other aggressive actions of the China Coast Guard and the Chinese maritime militia vessels against Filipino government vessels, it said in a statement. Manila said it summoned Zhou Ziyong, the number 2 official at the Chinese embassy in Manila, over the April 30 incident that damaged a Philippine Coast Guard vessel and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, both near the China-controlled Scarborough Shoal.
Ito po ay hindi talaga mahihinto. Kasi sinabi na natin dito sa ating programa ang punot dulo nito. Kamakailan noong panahon pa ni Ginoong Presidente Aquino, winarningan na ng China at ito po ay sa pagitan ng isang memorandum na pinadala ni then Ambassador Del Rosario kay Ginoong Presidente Noynoy Aquino. Sinasabi na ng China na yung Ayungin Shoal at saka yung Karatig area dyan ay kanilang sakop sa kanilang soberenya. Ito po, para po sa kaalaman ng ating mga kababayan. Kasi parati na lang ikakanon tayo at isasomo natin, wala na pong katapusan ito. Nalilito na ang taong bayan at kung sino-sino na lang ang nagsasalita sa ating pamalaan at nalilito na ang tao kung sino ang tutubayan or paniwalaan sa kanilang mga sinasabi. Una muna, ipalabas natin yung sulat or memorandum ni Ambassador Del Rosario. At secretary pa pala ito Secretary del Rosario, hindi ambassador, Secretary del Rosario of the Department of Foreign Affairs. Ito po, mga kababayan. This is a memorandum to the President. Ito, memorandum for the President. Copy furnished the Executive Secretary, the Cabinet Secretary, the Secretary Presidential Management Staff, Secretary of National Defense. I-emphasize natin ito, Secretary of National Defense. I-emphasize din natin ito, the National Security Advisor. Galing kay Albert F. Del Rosario, Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Ang subject matter ay Chinese demarque on the Ayungin Shoal. Okay. The department wishes to inform the President that the Chinese government already made 3 demarque on the issue of Ayungin Shoal, or better known as Second Thomas Shoal. First was on 11 April 2013, when Philippine Ambassador to China, Erlinda Basilio, was called to a meeting with Special Representative Wing Xiaodu of the Department of Boundary and Ocean Affairs of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Second was on 16 April 2013, when Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Ma Keqing, requested a meeting with Undersecretary Ivan Garcia. Third was on 17 April 2013, during the courtesy call of Ambassador Basilio to Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Zhang Yashui. The Ayungin Shoal issue was one of the issues Vice Minister Zhang raised with Ambassador Basilio. On the 3 occasions, the Chinese side said that the Philippine Navy vessel BRP Sierra Madre, on the pretext of being stranded, was illegally grounded on 2nd Thomas Shoal on 7 May 1999. The Chinese side claimed the Philippines authorities promised China that they would immediately remove the stranded vessel, but they have not done so up to this day. The Chinese side highlighted that the Philippines has not honored this commitment. The Chinese side further alleged that radar facilities have been built on the vessel and mooring ropes were installed around the ground vessel. The Chinese side said they are afraid that the Philippines will build structures at the shoal in violation of the China's sovereignty and also the ASEAN-China Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, DOC. The Chinese side has repeatedly made representations to the Philippines to honor its commitment. They said that 14 years have passed and China has given enough time to the Philippines and has been patient. Yung isa is just a reiteration. Yun naman is a letter from Ambassador Basilio reiterating na siya rin ay pinagsabihan ng Chinese authority na huwag tayo na maglagay ng barko dyan sa Ayungin Shoal at pinagsabihan tayo muli. So, ngayon, i-relate natin po ito ngayon sa bagong incident. And so many incidents before na talagang dinidikdik ng China na sila talaga ang may soberenya dyan sa Ayungin Shoal. And in one occasion, during the incumbency of Noynoy Aquino as president, yung Secretary of National Defense, Walter Gasmin, had also a chance to meet with Chinese authorities, Ambassador Ma Keqing, in one sideline discussion in a certain event in Camp Aguinaldo. At si Walter Gasmin mismo ay nag-commit That is a newspaper report, I think Daily Inquirer, na nag-commit si Voltaire Gasmin na hindi mag-deliver ng construction materials doon sa MB Sierra Madre na nakabahura sa Ayungin Shoal. So, ito lahat po ay a continuing saga tungkol dyan. At hindi pa rin natin nire-resolba through a diplomatic means. Instead, nagkakaroon tayo ng cloak and dagger style of ipipilit natin, lagay tayo ng barko, idadali natin doon, haharangin na naman ng China, and palala ng palala ito. Kasi ngayon, dati atin lang at saka China. Ngayon, pumasok na ang mga ibang bansa, specifically the United States of America, at sinusulsulan tayo na, sige, tuloy-tuloy lang yun lang. Kasi kung bombahan kayo dyan, mabaril kayo dyan, sasaklolo kami through the Mutual Defense Treaty, at pinagyayabang nila na ito po ay ironclad commitment ng Amerika. So, ito na ngayon, pinatawag na naman ang China. Ito po yung sinasabi ng China.
黄岩岛是中国的固有领土，非方的海警船和公务船未经中方同意侵闯黄岩岛的海域，严重侵犯中方主权。中国海警依法采取必要措施予以坚决驱离。中方奉劝非方立即停止侵权挑衅的举动，不要挑战中方维护主权的坚定决心。
Ako, na-explain na natin ito ng maraming beses in our past programs. So, ang problema dito, the Philippines is in denial of a dispute. Ayaw nilang pakinggan yung posisyon ng China. At ang posisyon ng Pilipinas ay atin ito. Okay, ang posisyon ng China, may soberanya sila at kanila yan. Ang posisyon natin, atin ito. Since ayaw natin makipag-usap sa kanila, at tuwing magkakaroon ng accommodation ng China na pwede natin padala ng humanitarian necessities doon ng ating mga tropa, nagpapalusot pa tayo ng construction materials na pinagbabawal nila.
Okay.
So, paulit-ulit na lang ito. Pagka wala namang construction material at may abiso, ay maluwag namang nakakarating doon yung ano. Unang-una dito, 1990s pa, Secretary, sa NASA, ako mismo on observation tour, natunghayan ko na may tinatawag silang satellite remote sensing. Alam nila kung bato yan, alam nila kung bakal yan, alam nila kung ginto yan, alam nila kung ano yan, kung tubig yan o agricultural product yan dala mo. Nakikita ho yan ng satellite. China has a way of monitoring, no? And I think they even have this remote sensing dyan sa mga Coast Guard vessels nila. Para hindi pa man nila hinaharang, ay tinitingnan na nila kung ano yung karga. No? At yan naman ordinaryo na sa atin. At one point in time, sa customs, meron tayo niyan. Yung container van, hindi na binubuksan. Dahil paladaanin lang dyan sa remote sensing x-ray na yan, malalaman na kung talagang may karga na kontrabando o wala. So, anong pupuntahan yan? Ang posisyon ko dyan, Secretary, is ganito. Since ikaw, Bongbong Marcos, inakomodate ka na naman ng China, inakomodate na naman si Ricky Manalo noong January, February, at nagkaroon ng walang ka-incident. Nagkaroon na naman ng protocol. Kung ayaw mong tawagin agreement, okay, protocol. kung paano magiging effective, peaceful, and efficient yung delivery dyan. Balita ko nitong Marso, binawi na naman ninyo So kayo, nagpapatintero dyan. Ito lang masasabi ko sa ating Pangulo, sa ating Secretary of Foreign Affairs, sa ating Secretary of Defense, at sa ating National Security Advisor. Since ang posisyon nyo, atin yan, kailangan makarating yan doon, by hook or by crook. Kung may hahalang sa inyo, upakan nyo.
Kaya yun na nga.
Tirahin nyo na para malaman nyo na kung gaano kayo katanga at kagago dahil hindi naman kayo palalampasin dyan ng mga Chino at malamang kayo ang dudugo ang ilong. Pero kung talaga matatapang kayo at mga patriots kayo, at matitigas ang ulo nyo, ayaw nyo makipagkasundo, di enforce your decision. Enforce your policy. Because as far as China is concerned, they are enforcing theirs. So,
with even very high toleration. Kasi winarningan na tayo nung panahon pa ni
10 years ago
Noy Noy. At nagkumitel na si Voltaire Gasmin, parang nagsinungaling tayo kasi hanggang ngayon tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Na ano lang ito, na himasmasan lang itong issue dahil nakipagsundo si Duterte na wala munang kung ano na commit ni Gasmin, kung ano na commit ni Noy Noy government noong panahon na yon. Kaya nga nagkaroon itong tinatawag na status quo agreement.
At saka obvious na, hindi na nila maitatago na talaga nagdala sila ng construction material dyan. Dahil yung deck nung BRP Sierra Madre, nalagyan na nila ng mga bubong. Nalagyan na nila ng mga structures. Saan nila kinuha yun? Hindi yan secretly nilusot ninyo. Kaya, ang international law, pagka may nabahura na ship, dapat alisin yan. It is against the marine environment. It is against marine safety.
And besides, according to a provision in the UNCLOS at saka doon sa arbitral, kaya nga hindi nag-exercise ng jurisdiction ang arbitral tribunal on the issue because the presence of the ship, nandun sa isang the presence of BRP Sierra Madre has militarized the area. If an area is militarized, hindi makikialam ang arbitral tribunal dyan. They don't exercise jurisdiction to determine the ownership. Pangalawa, yung pong area na yan, since it's military, hindi tayo makapag-exercise ng ating exclusive economic rights. Kasi, it's militarized, pwedeng mag-agawa ng sovereign rights. So, matibay. Kaya lang, alam mo, paulit-ulit, hindi talaga natin sinesettle yung issue. When in fact, there has already been an agreement to sit down and, reach solution, diplomatic solution. Pero tingnan mo itong Coast Guard na dating, ewan ko kung anong papel ngayon ito, daldal rin ang daldal, pa-interview ng pa-interview. Ito yung sinasabi niya 6 months ago. Pakita natin itong Tariela na kung daldal lang daldal, I don't know what authority is he speaking. Kaya nalilito na rin yung media, yung mga media natin dito sa mga dinadaldal nito. Okay, pakita natin itong dinadaldal nitong Tariela couple of months ago.
We mentioned that there is a collision incident. As to whether it is intentional or not, we go back to the behavior of China, highlighting the fact that they have been doing this dangerous maneuver. And for the past, we have been warning Chinese government that if they keep on doing the dangerous maneuver and then keeping close such distance, there is always a possibility of collision.
Sir, na-determine na ba, sir, kung ano yung damage doon sa civilian boat?
The chartered indigenous boat, it's for the Armed Forces of the Philippines to discuss the extent of the damage.
Pero medyo ano po, kasi di ba pataas ng pataas yung level, dati nagigilian lang, pero ngayon meron ng collision. So any assessment on that?
I think it's wrong to say that the tension in the West Philippine Sea is increasing. I would always tell this to the public that the only reason why there are a lot of news that is being publicized in the past months since we started the transparency initiative last February, it's because the national government is allowing the public to be aware of what's happening.
So, meaning
But-
may dati pang mas malala doon?
I cannot speak for the previous incidents, but what I'm saying is that there were reported incidents as numerous as now because we are telling the public what is happening.
Before ba hindi?
I was not the spokesperson then, ma'am.
Pero you're part of the PCG even before.
Yes, ma'am, but I was doing my PhD for 4 years before going back here in the Philippines. So definitely, ma'am, I'm not around.
Saying na walang escalation even if meron ng collision, actual collision.
What I'm saying is that there are incidents that are happening, but I don't want to say that there is an escalation.
So how can we frame or how can we call this? No escalation, so de facto as it is?
There's no escalation, but as what I mentioned, there is a collision because of the aggressive behavior and dangerous maneuver of Chinese Coast Guard and the Chinese Maritime Militia.
So previously we were blinded, we were not told about what is happening before, and now we are now seeing or we are now hearing what is now going on.
As I said, sir, I cannot speak for the previous government. What is the take and strategy in the information dissemination?
Well, you cannot speak for the previous administration, but you can speak as a Filipino. You are still part of the Philippines.
As a Filipino and as a proud member of the Philippine Coast Guard, I believe the Transparency Initiative, headed by our President in exposing aggressive behavior of China, is the best way for us to counter the gray zone in the West Philippine Sea.
Paring Ado, comment mo nga muna yung ano mo dyan. That was 6 months ago. Ito na naman,
sige.
mayroon na naman siyang yun, ano bang mandate nung, ano bang object nung sinasabi niya doon?
Una, doon sa sinabi niya, I agree with him na because he's dealing with the answers to the what is happening there. Pero this silly creature is not delving on the whys and wherefores, no? Basta
He was just making a news report.
it was just
But as to the
Alam na natin
substance
eh.
of why there is such a possible collision that would happen, wala siyang sinasabi sa media kung bakit mangyayari yan. Or bakit nangyayari itong water cannon sa atin.
and he's lying to his teeth because he's denying that merong sinasabi siyang aggression, merong sinasabi siyang dangerous maneuvers, merong sinasabi siyang blocking, ha? Pero deny niya na the tension is escalating. That is intellectual dishonesty.
Kaya nga nagkaroon ng ganyan because dinidikdik na talaga tayo ng China. Ano lang sila, subdued lang yung kanilang action because they don't want also to have a war or an actual, military fight there.
Alam mo nung magkaroon ng anti-war forum last week, nagtanong ako ng question kay Harry Roque. At ito ang mga facts na na-establish namin. Number one, we have no sovereignty in that part of South China Sea beyond our 12 nautical territorial sea. Ha? Yan. Wala, lampas dyan, wala na tayong sovereignty dyan. Okay. Tinanong ko si Harry Roque, but do we have exclusive economic zone there? Well, sabi ni Harry Roque, the arbitral tribunal stated that being within 200 nautical miles from the Palawan baselines, indeed, we have exclusive economic zone there. Pangatlong question ko, assuming that we have exclusive economic zone there, could it be effective in view of the prevailing situation in that part?
Naging militarize eh.
Ayun, ha?
Ha?
Ang
Because
sabi
of the presence of the BR. Actually, tayo rin ang nag-deprive. Kung itong mga...
we defaulted ourselves.
Kung itong mga bugok na ito, ini-insist nyo yung BRP Sierra Madre dyan, you are the ones depriving of our exercise of sovereign rights. Because sinasabi ng tribunal, hindi pwede yan dahil in a militarized area, there can be no exercise of
exclusive economic. EEZ and militarization are incompatible, even logically, common sense. Ang pangapat na tinanong ko, therefore it's militarized. Okay, the vessel by itself, sabi kong ganon, does that constitute territorial occupation? Sabi ko sa kanya, and can we invoke the Mutual Defense Treaty there? Alam mo, sabi niya, by international law definition, that is not anymore can be considered a vessel, because a vessel, according to international maritime law, is one that is capable of navigation, meaning moving under its own power. Nakabahura eh. So, paano yan magiging vessel under the Mutual Defense Treaty? So, ang ating territory doon is only insofar as the ship is concerned, but not the shoal that it is resting on. That is the fault of sino ba ito? Si Orly Mercado na nagpabahura dyan. No?
At sinundan yung thinking na yan dito sa mga bugok na opisyal ngayon ng ating gobyerno. So, yun, 6 months ago, itong Tariela na ito, daldal ng daldal. Ewan ko kung sino nag-authorize nito. Sana naman, maski sana bugok yung mga sinasabi at walang sense yung sinasabi, pero at least naman yung mga, in my own opinion, yung mga magagandang mga media, ma-appreciate man lang yung kanyang itsura. With due respect. Partner.
Sakit sa mata eh.
Masakit sa mata eh. Daw sabi ni Ado.
May opinion.
Ako nabubulag eh. Sana man lang magpalit naman kayo. Huwag naman ito. Give the Filipino people a sense of respeto or sense of
deference.
Aesthetic what? Di ba? At least man lang sabihin ng mga, uy, kagwapo. Sabihin ng lalo na yung mga magaganda diyang mga
I'm sure may magandang
mainstream media practitioners dyan sa mga Malacanang na yan or dito sa NAC.
Abay, napakalayo niyan, Secretary. Doon sa totoong spokesperson ng Philippine Coast Guard, si Vice Admiral Balilo, napaka-professional, napaka-talino, napaka-factual.
Sumingit lang to eh.
Oh.
Tapos ngayon, Ano bang papel nito? Itong si...
Ako, as far as I'm concerned, napagalitan na ni
itong-
Admiral Gaban yan eh.
Anong papel nitong hinahanap ni Vicky Bello? Hinahanap na ito ni Vicky Bello, matagal na eh.
Yan yata ang siya raw ang spokesman ngayon ng National Task Force for the West Philippine
Ibig
Sea.
sabihin, nakikipag-agawan ito kay Malaya na eager beaver ding magdadaldal dyan. Ha?
Oo, at ang pader daw dito ngayon ay hindi na si Hill Gavan ng PCG, no?
Sino na?
Si Eduardo Anyo na raw.
The Cubid King.
Na sinasapawan pati ang PCG. Yan. Yan ang mga may umuugong na dyan sa loob ng PCG.
Tapos 6 months ago yung dinadaldal nito. Ngayon, mukhang nag-iba ang tenor ito. Nagdadaldal na naman ito a few days ago eh. In what authority is he talking? Ha? Ha? Lalong hinahanap ni Becky Bello ito eh. Kasi nabubulag yung nanonood eh.
The mere fact that the guidance of the President for the Philippine Coast Guard and the Armed Forces of the Philippines is for us to remain professional, not to be provoked, not to use water cannon against water cannon. Ibig sabihin, mas nagpapagay pa nga ang administrasyon ng for them to deal professionally at hindi patuwas ang tension. So, what do you fairly sa tamang sagot? Ano ba talaga ang intention natin dito? Well, for the Philippine Coast Guard, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the entire National Task Force West Philippines, the reason why we're still patrolling these waters, the reason why we intend to make sure that meron tayong presensya dito, is because this is the stand of the West. We're not going to be deterred. We're not going to yield. Despite of all this harassment and provocative action in China, gagawin pa rin ng Coast Guard, magpapatrolya pa rin dyan, pamimigay pa rin ng mga ayuda sa mga marinista. That's our patriotic duty. That's the duty that we are sworn to do. Hindi kami mapipigilan ng China. Ngayon, tanong, ang China, paano kung paulit-ulit nilang gawin yan? Paulit-ulit nila kayo tuwatosan, paulit-ulit nila kayo harangan. Paulit-ulit pa rin, pupuntahan ng Coast Guard, ng P4 at ng Armed Forces of the Philippines yan. Dahil ang West Philippine Sea, ang Baco de Masinloc, ang karagatan natin sa hiwi. Sa atin naman yan. That falls under the exclusive economics. But definitely, we're not going to be the reason to escalate the tension. We're not going to be the reason to be an excuse for the Chinese government to bring in their warships and the elevated tension at sasabihin, ayaw nagsimula ng tulo, kaya we're bringing in the Philippine warship. This is the reason why we have calibrated approach in maintaining our presence in the West Philippines.
Sana makapagsalita man lang ng ganon si Bongbong Marcos, Kasi ito na raw siya speaking for the President.
Inagawa na si Garapol.
Wala nang papel si si Garapil. Ninakawan ka na ng pwesto.
Baka nag-on leave kasi pumunta din kay Bello. Ito hinahanap pa ni Bello
Ay nako. At saka alam mo
anong sense yung pinagdadaldal nito?
Wala, hindi ko nga masundan eh. He's dealing with foreign policy, at sinasabi niya na kung may gulo na mangyayari dyan, hindi sa aming side magsisimula. In the mere presence
Ikaw na nga tayo na nga yung gumugulo. Kasi, winawarningan na ng China as early as Noynoy Aquino's time na nagkiklaim ang China dyan. Naturally, gulo talaga yan. Aren't we the one provoking? Knowing that China has already declared those areas as them exercising sovereignty. Pinipilit natin. We're also exercising sovereignty. Kaya nga, why don't we already, fight them?
Tirahin nyo na kung talagang...
Sinabi ko na nga last time na kung yun ang intention, ako, magbo-volunteer ako, sasama ako, magdadala ako ng baril. para ma-test natin ang Amerika if they are really exercising such ironclad commitment. At magpadala kaagad. Hindi katulad nung sinasabi ni Marcos Sr. na sinasabi, while they are all deliberating in the U.S. Congress, we are all dying here. Isn't that the real thing that's happening? Kaya lang itong ating Pangulo, may ibang agenda. Itong tao na ito, inaano niya kay Duterte yung secret agreement, when in fact, siya naman ang nauna na nakapag-secret agreement kay Biden. Mabibisto yan. Pag nanalo si Trump, mabibisto yung mga sikreto na agreement na yan.
Malapit ka na. At ito siya sabi ni Tariel about the water cannon. Alam mo, ang water cannon is an accepted non-lethal weapon in law enforcement. It is accepted by the United Nations. So, kayo, kung magsalita kayo, yung water cannon, para bang tinitira na tayo. Excuse me, ang may record ng pagpatay ng mga seaman ay ang sarili nating Coast Guard nung pagbabarilin nila at masingganin nila yung mga Taiwanese a few years back at may namatay na isa. Isa lang ba yun? I can't even remember how many died.
Tayong pumapatay.
Tayong pumapatay. Sila, tubig lang ginagamit sa atin.
Tapos yung mga kinampihan natin, ang pumapatay sa atin, yung Japan at ang Amerika. Ang China, wala pa namang napatay
Ilagay nyo sa tamang
Pilipino yan
tamang konteksto ang nangyayari dyan. Dahil, katulad nito, itong recent, this happened not in Ayungin Shoal, but in Scarborough Shoal. We gave the territory to China in 2012, Mr. Tariela.
In truth and in fact,
nung ikaw ay...
naloko tayo ng Amerika, sinasabi mag-alisan, pero hindi umalis ang China at nagiging permanente na sila dyan, tinayuan na nila ng airport and everything. So, in international law, sila ang the one in control.
Tapos kayo, pasok ng pasok dyan. Pag kayo nasita, galit kayo. Anong klaseng gobyerno meron tayo ngayon, Secretary?
Alam mo, yun na nga masyadong blinded ang China is ready to talk diplomatic. Dapat diplomatic lang talaga ang nito.
Halatang
May agenda May agenda itong gobyerno natin.
May nag-uutos naman yan ng bansa. Provoke nyo. Sige, provoke nyo.
At maiwan tayo sa pansitan dahil yung nag-uutos, yung nag-uudyok, God knows, hindi naman talaga makipag-away yan sa China. Sinusubo lang naman tayo talaga.
Tapos, lumipat pa sila sa narrative ngayon. Umalis sila sa South China Sea, nagpunta sila sa Cagayan, tinanggal nila yung governor. Tapos, nagchichismisan ngayon, si Chester Bacalsa, si Congressman Lara, yung Makabayan Group, itong law dean ng San Beda na si Ranhilio Aquino na hindi pala abogado yan. Ay nakikipagchismisan dahil yung mga presensya daw ng mga Chinese students in Cagayan poses a national security threat. Baka raw mga sleeper cells yan. Hello! 2002 pa ho, nagpupunta na yung mga Chinese students dyan.
Sa tagal ng maraming sleeper cells sa ating bansa, bakit ka pupunta pa sa Cagayan? Hindi ka na lang pumunta dyan sa Binondo. If you're really serious and truthful.
25%!
Na walang mga in-check dyan na hindi mga Pilipino. Napakarami dyan.
Secretary, 25% ng population natin is of Chinese descent and heritage who have converted to Filipino. And there is 1.4 million resident aliens here who are pure Chinese, citizens of China. Tapos sasabihin nyo, may sleeper cells dito. Eh samantalang pinakamaraming estudyante pinadadala rito,
Balita ko,
14,000 Indians.
Balita ko, ang coordinator ng sleeper cell, nandyan mismo sa Malacanang. Yung real estate magnate daw na ang daming member ng directorate sa mga Chinese real estate company, pero ginawa na cabinet. Ay, yun ang
At saka yung
parang nakatingin ka sa malayo, pero yung hinahanap mo nasa right under your nose.
yung
My
dating,
goodness.
yung dating chairman ng Secretariat of Mining, which is Chinese, virtually a Chinese company, is now the Secretary of National Defense. Oh my God! Eh, yan ang sleeper cell. Si Gibo Chodoro. Ay, nako. Anyway, huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe dito sa Iparas kay Paras. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, mga kababayan. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.